Bump, 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 bump. Where's my cool background music?
Where are you from?
Never. Born and raised in Michigan. Krista and I have moved all over the place. Krista and I are both from Michigan.
How many kids do you have?
2 girls. Kylie is 13 and Carly is 8. Depending on the day, they're that age or like 35-ish. Or 70. No, just seeing if I can get us lost in the big town of Independence. Oh, we're getting passed by a lawnmower. That can't be good. Yeah, how do my values align with city so far? Well, it's going to seem kind of odd, but 4 weeks in, I would say my perception of our values is, high value on relationships, first and foremost. We value people at city, and not only the people that work at city, but our extended family, the customers. And I've always felt like those are two very important relationships. Obviously, I think, unfortunately, some people get that wrong in business. But without your customer, you're not going anywhere. So that part is important. And then, the development of people is a huge part so far from what I see of city. And that's something I've always been a big believer in. You should always try and further your people, advance your people, educate your people, etc. So far, those two things are huge.
Really like how you called them the second family.
Well, it is, and that's one of the things that I think is exciting about the way City approaches it. I mean, City looks at, from what I see so far in my 4 weeks, City looks at the relationship as being a long-term, we're in this together, not a, hey, go ahead and sign the contract. Now, on the first aid side, there's not contracts, but even from the laundry side, it's not a, hey, we just want to get this contract once and then move on, They really want this to be a mutually beneficial long-term relationship, and that's the same approach I'm going to have with first aid. I want it to be a situation where we're fulfilling a need, but I want the people that we're in there helping and servicing to understand that it's a long-term partnership, and we want to be their go-to source for whatever their first aid stuff may be. I actually I'm connected with Emily on LinkedIn. I guess I hadn't really paid attention to all the connections that I had on LinkedIn that worked at City, but I knew I had a few. Well, anyways, Emily and Colin had talked about trying to find somebody to run the first aid division, and I guess I stuck out to her as somebody they should talk about, and she knew that I was connected with Hildy, so she asked Hildy to give me a call and see if I'd be at least interested in learning about it, which she knew I would be, and I was. So then I met with Colin a couple days after. It was pretty fast, really. That was on a Thursday, and I think I met with Colin we talked on Monday and met on another Thursday, so a week. It was total a week. Yeah, and I was all in. I mean, any chance you get to work with great people, great company, that's a no-brainer. Especially, like I said, having the opportunity to help turn it into something more than what it is I'm a challenge challenge-oriented person, so I love the concept of challenge, I think. In retrospect, it's funny, I never really knew that about myself until about 15 years ago or so. I used to travel around and turn around underperforming retail stores, and I really enjoyed it. And I would go like 6-8 months, I'd be in a market, and 3-4 months, whatever it might be, and turn their entire performance around. So sales-wise, procedurally, we might get a couple people promoted out of that market that hadn't, didn't have a history of that, and then we go to the next. And I really enjoyed just that challenge of going to markets that weren't successful and making them successful. And that's when I really realized that was something I was interested in. I never really thought about it in that scope before, but I'd never really been in that position either to do that. So, and maybe not everybody's wired that way, I guess. So it worked out.